What's up, guys? Over the last few days, I've been bitching a lot about bad employees, bad contractors, and all that. And I figured, now's a good time to talk about some ways to handle some of those crazy customers. Most of the time, it comes down to communication or lack of communication. So, when we first got into business, we were just trying to keep our heads above water. We had no real system in place for communicating, and we really had no way of dealing with the many issues that came up day after day after day after day. What we realized is one of the best ways to prevent misunderstandings is to just set up clear expectations from the jump. You know what I mean? In your first sales appointment, explain the process, explain your timelines, and really let the customer know what is included in the project and get as specific as you can possibly get. And most importantly, and this is the part that people seem to forget, ask your customers what's actually important to them. This helps you understand any non-negotiables and helps you make sure that everyone's on the same page, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do. Trying to set up a contract that everybody's happy with so we can walk away with a happy customer and get paid. So when it comes to your contracts, document everything. They say OSHA, like every OSHA regulation was created because somebody died. And our contracts with my companies, we build them the same way. We have one signature for the project itself and probably like 4 pages of initials and addendums and stuff like that because of previous crazy customers we've had. Like everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong at some point in time for us and our previous customer base. So it's super important to protect yourself, but also let your customer know when they're signing all 50 of your initials that what we're doing is protecting ourselves, but also protecting them. Because a contract that lays out all the expectations like very clearly, the more detailed your contract is, the better positioned you'll be should you end up in court. And for us, we use a app called Zero. So we are able to temper our position should something come up down the road. So if something does go wrong, the customer says, hey, I wanted black and you gave me white. Well, it's pretty hard for a customer to argue when you have their voice recorded saying that they actually said they wanted white. Or when the contract and the work order says white, and they're saying now that you get there they want black, even though they signed for it, they can still try to say, well, no, that's not really what I wanted. Well, if you have their voice recorded, they can't really fight you on it. So anyways, we haven't had to use that yet, but Zero, great tool. If I'll put a link in the comments on this video if anyone wants to learn more about it. Otherwise, reach out to me and I can get you in touch with my guy Ben over at Zero. He's the man. But ultimately, a clearly defined sales process can really save your ass down the road. So make sure everybody is selling the same product, selling it the same way, and not promising customers the world just to get a signature. But once you get the signature and the project's actually moving forward, that's when things actually start going wrong. You're typically not dealing with serious problems until the project starts. So what we found is frequent and proactive communication is crucial. Keeping your clients updated on the progress, the potential delays, and any changes that come up as they come up. As an issue arises, just talk to the people. Waiting or hiding it is only going to make it worse, and most of the time, your clients will appreciate your honesty and transparency over feeling like they're left in the dark. So, nobody likes being lied to. Our job as a contractor is to build trust. They hired us because they trust us to do a good job. The second we hold something back from them or don't let them know what's going on, that trust is out the window, and it snowballs into bigger problems. Like perfect example for us was during COVID, we had a huge increase in manufacturing issues. Now, it got bad, and we had this huge lead times already, but for us, we were able to stay on the good side with most of our customers just by keeping them in the loop, letting them know. And for us, that was a lesson we learned the hard way. We weren't doing that at first. We had basically a line out the door of people that thought we were like a scam because they paid us all this money and we hadn't communicated with them that, oh, hey, sorry, we we thought our lead times were 4 months, where actually they're 8 months. And so we learned the hard way that, hey, communicate, over-communicate. We'd rather annoy somebody with over-communicating than annoy them with under-communicating. And, as contractors, we hate surprises, but customers hate surprises even more. And so if we can stay on top of communication from the jump, we can usually diffuse a situation before it gets into, bad territory. But inevitably, shit is gonna blow up on you, and this is the time where we have to practice a skill we learned in elementary school. It's called active listening. So when a client is super, super mad, you just gotta let them yell at you. Sometimes people just want to be heard, and ultimately they want to yell. Practicing active listening by acknowledging their concerns with phrases like, I understand that you're upset, or I can see why you're concerned about this, or you're right, this is not how it should be. It shows that you're getting down on their level and you're trying to understand where they're coming from, and often just validating their feelings can de-escalate the situation before it gets too heated. Most of the time, people just want to be yelled. They just want to yell. They need someone to take their frustration out on, and if we truly did do something wrong, it's our job to take accountability, apologize, and then reframe the problem with solutions. So instead of focusing on what went wrong, highlight what can be done to fix a problem. So if it's as simple as a delay, explain what steps you're going to take to get back on track. So this keeps the focus on solutions rather than assigning blame, and the worst thing you can possibly do is blame someone or something else. If you do that, you're positioning yourself in the situation as the victim, and victims are powerless. In that exact moment, the customer wants to be the victim. They are mad because they feel out of control, and they have no way of expressing that other than yelling at us. So if you're fighting for that position as victim, that's a really bad position to be in. And also if, you're portraying yourself as a victim, you also don't have a solution to the problem, and the customer needs someone to solve their problems in that moment, and that person needs to be you. So last thing you want to do is pass the blame, because you lose all control at that point. But there are situations where a customer is being ridiculous, and some customers just have incredibly high demands or unrealistic expectations, go way above and beyond reality, and we call these customers PITAs, P-I-T-A, pain in the ass. In most cases, it's okay to set your boundaries as long as it's done politely and professionally. You can say something like, Mr. Jones, we'd love to repaint your entire house because of one tiny scratch on your trim, but we have to consider our current timeline and costs associated with that request. How about we repair the scratch and paint the trim that we scratched instead? Or, while we can certainly upgrade from the base model that you signed for to the top of the line model, that will require a change order. And here's the price difference. A lot of times people, they get an inch and they want to take a mile, and so you as a contractor, you want to please these people, you want to do what's right for them, but there are people that are going to want to take advantage of you, and there's a time where you have to set your boundaries. And by setting boundaries, you're respecting their requests, but that also letting them know that there's limits on what's actually possible. And again, this is where having a solid contract is key. We didn't get into business to give shit away for free, and unless we majorly mess something up, we shouldn't be giving things away for free. Unless they're trying to save face, keep the customer from writing a bad review or whatever, give them a freebie, but otherwise, it's not worth it. You do it once, it's gonna snowball. By the end of it, they're gonna never be happy. They're gonna continue coming back for more and more and more. And in the worst cases, sometimes you just gotta learn when to let go. Sometimes we just can't please the person. If that's the case, don't hesitate to have an honest discussion. You could say something like, we always strive to deliver excellent results, but I'm sensing that our approach may not be meeting your expectations. Would it make sense to reevaluate our direction? This lets them know, hey, we recognize that there's an issue. If we're not able to overcome it, we have to have a conversation. The other way to go about it, my favorite, a little less professional, a little more aggressive, and this approach would be something more like, we'd be happy to uninstall our products and provide you with a full refund. We'll just need you to sign this release of liability. And you'd be shocked at how fast a tough customer turns their demeanor around when they realize that they actually aren't in 100% control of the situation. You know, a lot of times these guys, they think because they paid you money that we become their slaves and we have to do every little thing that they ask, and that's just not the case. You know, we want to do what's right for the customer. We want to do right by them, but there comes a time where we have to set boundaries, and sometimes you just have to set people in their place and not be afraid to let them know that they can't push us around. And you know, you guys, I understand that difficult customers, I mean, that's seriously like the most challenging part of this business. It's what keeps me up at night. We've had maybe 5 out of 4,000 that have been seriously hard to handle. But the crazy thing is, like 3 of the 5 have called us back for more work. And it's just, you have to realize that people are just that way. Some people are just a-holes, pitas. And you have to be okay with having tough conversations. But as long as you communicate, you know, actively listen, let them vent, let them talk, provide solutions, set your boundaries. You know, those are your best tools you can use. And, you know, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or tips on handling tough situations with clients, share them in the comments below, and I will share the link to Zero. Feel free to shoot me a DM if anyone wants to learn more about Zero, or, you know, whatever. I'm an open book, and as you know, this group is set up as a support group to support each other. So if you guys have anything you'd like to add or you want to pick my brain, just feel free to reach out. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.